Hi everyone, this is Grant and welcome to another episode of Raising Amazing Families. In today's episode I want to talk about having self-confidence as a parent. And I guess the background to this episode is that I recently posted in a parenting group on Facebook. I asked a question about who lacks confidence, self-confidence as a parent. And I was really surprised by the number of people that responded that they do lack self-confidence. And most of them were quite difficult situations to deal with. They weren't easy. A lot of it was to do with the current situation with COVID-19, just that intense, magnified environment that most parents are living in, that I've recently spoken about in other episodes. And they were really difficult things. So parents that were losing confidence in themselves because of the relationship with their kids, and they were mostly teenage kids, or they were, relationships with their partner, that again, quite an intense situation, being at home all the time, having to work and homeschool at the same time. And it just really intensified some of the situations that these parents were in, to the point where they were starting to doubt themselves. Sorry, I got a mozzie buzzing around me. They were starting to doubt their ability as a parent and as a partner. And a lot of them were actually quite sad stories to read. I guess the thing about self-confidence and belief is, as we all know, you're not born with it. So it is developed over time. And sometimes we don't know why we've developed belief in ourselves or self-confidence. But typically it's because we've experienced something that allows us to believe that we are capable or we're good at something. So an example I'll give is myself. I played rugby league as a kid, from the age of about 5 through to 16. And for a large part of my footballing career as a junior footballer, I really lacked confidence. And it wasn't because I was a bad footballer, but I just had an issue with self-belief. And it wasn't until I got older and I had I played under a number of coaches that, were all saying similar things to me, that if I put my mind to it, I could be as good as anyone on the field. And it took me a long time to actually understand and believe that. But it was a mindset shift that I had to take in order to become, a good quality footballer. And it's no different with parenting. When I read a lot of the stories that were posted or that were responded back to my post, these parents had undergone some pretty tough situations to the point where they just lost self-confidence and self-belief. And, it could be things like they've had an argument, or, relationships have deteriorated and they've just had no feedback to indicate that they're doing a good job. In fact, they may have even had feedback to say they're doing a not very good job. And so just that constant negative feedback or lack of feedback has eventually chipped away at their self-belief to the point where they're struggling. And so, how do you crawl back from that? Well, it's not easy. I mean, there's a lot of self-help gurus out there, and I guess in recent times I've read a little bit from the likes of Tony Robbins and co. And I guess you've just got to rebuild. And they talk about things like having a positive mindset through positive affirmations. So simple things like writing down what are your strengths, what are you good at, and focusing on those. So once you've identified your strengths, you focus on those on a daily basis. You acknowledge yourself for the things that you do well each day. And even if it's little things like, I got up and made the bed today, or I got up and took the kids to school. Or it could be big things like I got up and built an IKEA flat pack. That's a challenge for anyone, even a rocket scientist. So it's getting into the habit of creating positive mindset on a daily basis. And in fact, I'll attach an article, a Tony Robbins article about confidence to the post when I post this podcast. But the issue is that you've got to take steps daily to build self-confidence and belief. You can't You can't just have a go at it one day and then leave it for a week, and in the meantime you're getting a barrage of negative feedback from all different sources, whether it's the media talking about COVID-19 every day of the week, or your kids feeling down about being stuck inside, or your partner complaining about having to work long hours despite being at home. It takes constant daily action to create that self-belief all over again. And reality is, if you boil it back to basics, as a parent, you're the only parent of your children, or you and your partner are the only parents of your children, and so no one can take that away from you, and that's a great starting point. If you want to build self-belief again as a parent, is know that you are unique. There is no one else in the world that's created your children and the ability for your children to be living today other than you and your partner. And obviously there's some other circumstances out there that create children other than a mum and a dad. But rest assured that your ability to be a parent to your children, typically you're the best parents, you're the best people to do that job. You know your kids better than anyone. And so, as I said, no easy solution other than you've got to take steps. You've got to take action yourself, your steps yourself. No one can do it for you. And so the way to move forward is to, first of all, accept that you've got, you're lacking self-confidence, being aware of it, and then actually starting to take action. And it might be simple things like writing down, 3 things you want to achieve each day and marking them off as you achieve them, and slowly but surely rebuilding that foundation of self-belief and self-confidence that, that you once had, or that you want to have. That's your goal, your target. So as I said, no easy solution. However, it is a mindset. Self-confidence and self-belief is definitely a mindset. And, human psychology is extremely complex. So what works for one person doesn't necessarily work for another. But there are some general things that you can do on a daily basis. And as I said, you have to take the first step. No one can do it for you. I'm just thinking about where this might apply in other areas of your life, and reality is that belief is the foundation for nearly everything in life. Not just parenting, but it could be sport, it could be business, relationships, whatever it might be. It is all based off a foundation of belief and trust and confidence in yourself, and creating that mindset. So I'll wrap it up there, and as I said, I'll attach the Tony Robbins article to the post in Facebook and Instagram. As always, please give me feedback. I'd love to hear your thoughts, one way or the other, whether it's something you do struggle with, or whether it's you don't struggle with self-confidence because you put things in place to allow you to be confident in your own ability. And I think they would be very useful. They'd be very useful feedback to give to the rest of the group or the audience. So as usual, please comment on the podcast or in Instagram, Facebook, and take care. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you.